Steve, what's up? Yo, what up? I already left. Perfect, we're all on time, aside from Nav.
It's New York City, man. This is the mecca of nightlife. Industry talk, industry talk, industry talk. This is industry talk. This is industry talk.
Live and direct, baby, on the ones and twos.
It's not talked about enough. The mental psyche of a DJ traveling alone, the bottle girls, the bus boys. What specifically can you take out of nightlife that will allow you to find a job later on in life? No.
Industry.
Yeah, but it's something to talk about.
It matters. It really matters.
Those people are trying to put us on more than we're trying to put each other on. Boom. That was my answer. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
And we out.
One.
There's not a shelf life to this game. There's just the shelf life that you set for yourself.
We here, man. Industry Talk with Big Ben.
I'm here with the Jason Experience.
We are here at Industry Talk.
This is Industry Talk.
It's the Kid Daytona, and I'm out here with the Jason Experience.
This isn't a pizza you put in the microwave at 3 minutes and you come back and it's ready. It takes time. It took me half a decade to just be relevant. Industry Talk, Function House, Marty Rock, Jason Experience, episode 5. Alright guys, I lost my bet. Now, the Nuggets did not win. They are not going to the finals. Thank you, Marty. Shortcuts, I owe you pizza. Joe's Pizza to be specific.
That was the bet.
That was
the
yeah.
wager? Pizza?
Yeah,
That's
pizza.
it?
Well, it's the best pizza in like New Rochelle. I love this place. And they only sell pies, so like you're forced to buy him a pie. And he'll eat the whole thing in front of you without like giving you it. Like I'm gonna have to buy my own one.
Yeah.
And then buy him one. That's a petty.
Shout him out. See if we.
No, I'm not shouting him out. Well, we're about to make a new bet. So.
Oh.
I am.
But shout out to RX Water though.
So you're a
Definitely.
gambling man, you know. I'm a big double or nothing type of guy. So I'm gonna raise the stakes on you. I'm calling Milwaukee in 7 against the Warriors. It's a big call. Yeah, man, it's the call I'm making. So I'm calling Milwaukee in 7 against the Warriors. I'm gonna go double or nothing. Now, obviously, we do 2 pies of pizza. That's just stupid, right? I think we can all agree. So we're gonna do this a little differently. You're gonna spin for me at our next Suit gig for free. But if I lose, I'll double it. I will double it. Straight up double it. That's how much confidence I have in this bet.
You'll double his pay?
I'll double his bet.
Yo, when
I'll
you
double
lose,
his bet.
I'm not opening for free.
No, but that's the bet. That's the bet. Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it. That's the bet. Now we're also gonna have to do a bit for the show. So with your free gig, I also get an interview. Just letting you know. So it's a double package. Ball's in your court, bro. You're a point guard. Bring it up. Come back my way. See if you can get by this defense. Because I'm telling you, I'm not losing this second round. I prefer my R's, man. I like the double or nothing type bets. I've always been a roulette type dude. Anyways, carrying on with the show, episode 5. Our next guest, this next guest really needs no introduction. Dimitry Mak.
Hey.
Now, I do want to apologize for messing up that intro. That's one of the worst intros I've ever done. I apologize for that. I do want to mention that.
It's all good.
Now wait.
Thanks for having me, by the way.
You have a dream
Welcome,
schedule,
bro,
though.
welcome.
I'm jumping right into it. You have a dream schedule, some would say. Now, a lot of DJs come up to the show. They have a crazy schedule, but it's fake. Okay, they have a schedule that they created. This is a schedule that's residency based. We haven't seen this in New York much. How have you gotten to this point?
I guess hard work and consistency, I think.
Perseverance, basically.
Yeah, you just got to keep at it and be good at what you do and be nice to the people that you work with. I think that goes a long way too.
The politics.
Yeah, I mean, there's politics involved in every business, not just DJing, but just about everything. You have to play the game.
Now, I watched some footage, doing my research, and I'm watching you jump up and down with this long sleeve and you know the hair is not long, it's not short, it's kind of in between. And one of the craziest things is I'm watching it and I mute the music for a second, and I'm like, this looks like a metal, the lead singer of a metal band tearing the roof off of a party. Where does this energy come from? And
Actually, it comes from, I used to play in bands.
okay, so there is some type of
Yeah, so I used to play in bands. I play guitar, I play bass, a little bit of piano, whatever. So my, I guess, stage persona or like performance comes from that experience, you know. So used to get up on stage every night, strap on an instrument, and just really, because when you're like doing like rock music or whatever, you really have to bring it on stage and give it your all, like leave everything on the stage, like, and so when I got into DJing, I kind of took that with me. And it's also kind of, I also, even on nights when I try to like dial it down, I really can't. I guess it's just kind of there, and it feels good to kind of let it all out. That's like my release. So it just, yeah, it comes from that, I think, just from being in, performing on stage.
Is that how you got Modern Machines?
So that, yeah, that's more like my music project. So like Modern Machines is more like my music project, my baby, where I create, and it's more very focused on like I would only do certain gigs with it, and only like because like the music that I create with it like is something that I want to hold true to that. So if people come to see a Modern Machines show, they're gonna get a very specific set that's not gonna be like just like play the hits and play the like whatever popular Drake song is out at the moment, which there's nothing wrong with that. I love playing that, but with Modern Machines it's very like laser focused on like what I want to bring and what people are going to experience.
I'm really glad you brought this up, because we talk about putting DJs in a box. We talk about New York City DJs. They're built to cater to the venue, not cater to the crowd.
Right.
Now you did something really smart where you waited until you solidified Dimitry Mak, and you're like, okay, 2009, 2011?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I've lost track, to be honest. But
I think it's 2011, where you go on and become and develop Modern Machines. But the greatest thing about it is that you waited. You know, a lot of these guys I see coming up at 22, 23, 24, you guys are trying to create two different brands, trying to maintain two different brands. Would you have wanted to start this two brand thing earlier, or are you happy you started when you started?
Well, I think it's important to stay on brand, and I wouldn't want people that like listen to Modern Machines music on Spotify or whatever they may find me on YouTube, or I wouldn't want them to like hear my music and then come see me at a show and be like, why is this guy playing like Future all night or whatever it is? You know what I mean? I want him to come to a Modern Machines show and experience one thing, and I want like Dimitry Mak is like just me like being an open format DJ, which I love doing, and not something that I ever like want to like completely leave behind. You know what I mean? So as the Modern Machines project grows, that's eventually going to take over and do more the festival circuit and the kind of like the more, I guess, like the EDM circuit. Yeah.
Now the big rooms is a lot of goals. All these DJs have big goals to become. They love the big room, right?
Yeah, that's
the
the energy.
Yeah, that's the fantasy.
You just feed off of that, because like.
But isn't there something beautiful about intimacy, like that little intimate setting where you can take them, these 200 people now on this musical journey, as opposed to 20,000 where there's no real.
Right, there's not much room for taking them on a journey. Yeah, I agree, and that's why I love both ways of DJing. I love taking crowds on a journey when there's a time and a place. And I also just sometimes need to just bang it out, bring the energy, and bring the, you know, just like bang it out, just hammer it home. Yeah, take it to 11, you know?
I mean, realistically, like the difference between a 200 person
Steve,
crowd
what happened to that vodka real quick?
And 20,000 person crowd, with the 200 person crowd, you're dealing with 250 requests. That's the intimacy. That's the joy of the intimacy. No, there is no joy of an intimate room.
Dimitri, when was the last time, when I say, okay, when I say, I'm talking about Tomorrowland to Marquee. Marquee is still intimate, in my opinion, when it comes to EDM. If you're doing
right,
EDM,
yeah.
Marquee's still a premier spot, though.
As far as like EDM goes, that would be like intimate for like, because a lot of the guys that play there perform the large festival
format,
stages. So for them, like 1,000-person room or whatever, how many people Marquee fits, that's kind of small
intimate,
to them. But
to
as far as like. for DJs, it's
I get it.
still
I get
it's
it.
still
I get it.
like a lot of
I get
DJs dream about performing Marquee. Like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
still like
Oh,
a
yeah.
huge like check off list. Like I just performed there last Saturday, headlined.
For your birthday, by the way.
Yeah, it
Happy
was
birthday,
great.
Dimitry
Happy
Mak
belated,
in the
bro.
building,
Happy
guys.
belated, man.
That's a birthday.
And it was insane. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you premiered. You definitely played the single. Do it at Marquee on the 10th, right?
Yeah.
I was watching on the Billboard on the charts of the BPM port and all the different EDM charts. You're climbing, steady, climbing,
Yeah,
climbing.
it's doing really well.
You
Thank
know,
you.
And what's so beautiful is you surpassing, let's say, legends that you've looked up to, that inspired you in the past. What's kind of going through your head as all this is happening? It's your birthday. There's so much going on.
Shock, I guess. Like it's you never really like expect that moment to happen where you're above Calvin Harris on any chart ever, and when you see it, you're like, what is happening? And you almost like don't believe it. So that just kind of goes through your head at all times, even when like you're performing. You know, one of my highlights that I was looking forward to doing was headlining Hakkasan in Las Vegas, which is probably one of the top clubs in the entire country. Anyone who's involved in nightlife or in nightclubs or anything knows about. It's like it's like where Tiesto plays. And
No, that's
it's
the
like
goal. That's the Mecca. That's the Mecca.
So
and Omnia.
yeah, and so you know I did that a couple months ago. I headlined there, and that was also kind of one of those moments where you're like, "Is this really happening?" So you're never really prepared for those moments. Even when you're in them, you're like, "Whoa, what is going on?" So yeah, like
You headlined there as Modern Machines or
Yeah,
as Dimitry
yeah.
Mak? Okay.
yeah.
But you see, this really goes back to the first question we had.
Thank you for not wearing a mask, by the way. Appreciate you.
I didn't think this was
Actually, when I first started the project,
Standing
that
up there
was
with a fucking
one of
fax
the
machine on your head.
one of the things that because I was obsessed with Daft Punk, still am. They're my favorite, probably dance duo of all time. But when I first started the project, I kind of was like really thinking about doing that, and I think I wore some kind of mask, which was lame, and then I got over it after a few months.
You were a mouse?
No.
What?
You
You
said
wore
you
a
were
mask.
a
No, I wore a mask.
Oh, mask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is it when DJs now do the two personalities, they gotta go mask with it? Like it's not like the whole following that was following you for the past 8 years is gonna forget who you were.
Right.
Like you know you gotta come in as the mask guy.
Right.
You can't go halfway through your life and
Right.
put on a mask and
Yeah.
just expect everybody to be like, okay,
Yeah.
this is now you. I mean, I guess in 2019, that's exactly what you can do, ladies and gentlemen. You can definitely change who you are, and everybody will just.
Absolutely, and the
completely
mask
accept
makes you
it.
timeless. Like for example, with Daft Punk, to reference them again, they don't even have to be them. It could be two guys that like are not them, and they could just get up on stage because like they only tour every once 10 years, and like you know they could be doing it for another like 50 years, but you won't. It's just it's a creation, you know. It's like a cartoon almost, like a.
Like a
It
Mickey
never
Mouse kind of
ages.
thing. Yeah.
No, yeah, I guess it's more to the art form that you guys really create more than just the music.
Yeah.
Take Lavo just reopened. You did the reopening, correct?
Yeah. Last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Yeah, I did the grand reopening weekend.
We had Conan up here talking about the sound systems. Shout out to our guy Conan.
Yeah.
Tell me what your favorite sound system to play on in New York is.
I will agree with Conan that Marquee has the best sound system in New York
By far.
by far.
Yeah.
Now we're talking Mirage, Output. What if we take Brooklyn and put into?
Oh, nah.
I think those are like more like those are like more like a warehouse space. You know that fits like 3,000 people.
Yeah.
So that's like as far as nightclubs go, I think Marquee does have the best sound system in the city or anywhere in New York really, because it's catered to like world-class talent. You know, if David Guetta shows up and plays, or Modern Machine shows up and plays, you want the best
breath.
sound in the world to represent that talent that you're bringing in.
I love New York City so much because
The best city in the world.
Every block, every club is so different. You know, I can go listen to Modern Machines with you, then I can go down the block and he's spinning bachata and that guy's spinning top 40 and you're spinning. Yeah, there's so much going on.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's
You know,
racist.
I want to drop.
Well, I gotta be the one spinning bachata, yo. That's so racist, yo. It's cool because I bust your balls about being a Jew all the time.
All the time, man. I make one comment. It's my first comment on the Spanish, by the way, this week. But actually, the baby mama one was the first one, right?
Yeah, that was. Whatever. It is what it
It's
is.
2 for 1. We're not that bad. We mentioned PhD, Tao, Marquee, Chicago, Tao Chicago. 11 Miami, then all the other clubs in between, Hakkasan. These clubs have different style of music. You're one of the only guys that can go EDM, open format, top 40.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop a venue and a day. Give me the style of music you would play on that day.
Okay.
A Lavo brunch specifically.
I think that's a mix between like top 40 big room house and like hip hop and a lot of like Spanish and Brazilian music.
11 Miami.
Definitely a lot of twerk and trap tracks for the girls to dance to. You want to make the dancers happy first and foremost, and obviously your fans that are coming to see you. But definitely more bass music, you know.
No.
Like I would play, like I did a remix for Post Malone. I would play it there.
Okay.
I mean, I would play that at all my sets, but especially there, more like that.
There's more of a trap feel where they can
Yeah,
twerk
like
and
a little.
dance.
Yeah, so the girls can like dance and.
What
do
about
their thing.
PhD downtown?
That's pretty well. I think because there's a lot of tourists that stay in that hotel. Just pretty straightforward, commercial top 40, just very familiar music that even if you're not really like, because New York is we're all so on top of music here, that you know you really got to keep up with the latest tracks. A lot of times, I'm not ashamed to admit it. A lot of times, people will come up to me. They're like, "Do you have this?" I'm like, "I haven't even like heard that." Like. And that just happens all the time in New York versus like other markets. Sometimes people will be a little bit behind. So I think PhD is definitely that room where people are just visiting from out of town, staying in the hotel. They want to hear Despacito or whatever it is. And that's cool. I'm more than happy to.
I only ask you because when we do the write-ups, I do like write-ups like, okay, you want to come to this club? It's going to be this type of music. This is going to be the ambiance place. So I ask DJs this question, kind of get the feeling of how I should now tell the consumer what the music's, because you know what happens is I tell the customer they're gonna get top 40, right? My DJ he plays one thing, so I go to, hey bro, I kind of told everybody top 40, and they go to you. You should have told them, like you know, like porn categories is like ass, fat, and then it keeps going.
Bro, your mom
so they go
right there. What
My mom.
the fuck, yo? This guy, bro.
Oh man, this is gonna be a long night. but you know how there's like subcategories. I
Yeah,
could have done this with
course.
so many like Seamless, Yelp. I could have done this so many other ways, but I chose.
No, that's
porn.
a good reference.
That's a
I
good
think.
reference.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
understand? Modern machines. Okay, we had this. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say. So it really is good to know specifically what these rooms are like. What's supposed to be played in these rooms, you know?
I do
and as a
think
resident, that's something that you're setting the bar. This is what's going to be played because you're going to be back the next week.
Yeah, I think I think certain rooms and certain nights do have an expected sound. For example, Marquee Wednesdays is very hip hop driven, always. So I think people that go to that night know that it's going to be
That's going to be Spade. That's going to be mostly like Vice Ruckus.
and like the Fridays and Saturdays at Marquee are more EDM driven, and even if you don't know the DJ, you still know that that's going to be the sound you're getting. But I think it takes a while for a venue to build a sound and an identity, so people know that they're getting into something. You know, like if people come to a venue and they'll be like, "Are you gonna be playing this?" Well, I'm like, maybe you should have done your homework and know what you're getting into. Like, I wouldn't go to Marquee on whatever night if I was expecting one thing and then I'm gonna be getting another thing. Like, I would be like, what are they playing on this night? I would look at the schedule and see the next few weeks and be like, oh, there's a lot of hip-hop DJs, or there's a lot of EDM DJs on this night. Most likely, you know what I mean?
That's going to carry on to the next week
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
probably going to be what's going to be happening next week. So I think if people just did a little more homework, I think they'd be a lot more pleased going out, make less requests. Because, you know, like, I think I was DJing a couple, like last week, and some girl asked for that Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper song in the middle of like a hype, like that acoustic, like and it was in the middle of like the whole club is like turned, and I'm like, why would you? I don't mind. I like at this point, like requests are just part of the job and they're hilarious, but it's like I just don't understand where would you even get that idea to like kind of it doesn't fit the mood or like. Why would you? That's a song you would listen to at home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But again, this comes to the consumer not really understanding that the DJ has an actual job to do and is not only there just for like pushing buttons. I think that a lot of these consumers don't understand that they're just going to the club expecting them to get catered to, as opposed to the fact that, no, you're there to cater to the DJ's needs because you're paying the ticket to see the DJ.
Right.
And that's a common misconception in New York. What are the people there for? This is the constant question we have.
I think a lot of people feel very entitled because it's their birthday or their bachelor. It's my best friend's birthday. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I wouldn't go up to you anywhere and be like, it's my best friend's birthday. Give me something.
Can you play
like,
shallow?
Okay. I mean, okay.
Yeah.
I think we call a spade a spade. So if we're gonna say that, let's say Dimitry Mak or Modern Machines is spinning, and that's why people are buying the tickets, then yes, that's the most important thing in the room. But I do believe if in a venue like One Oak or a venue like Up and Down, where everything is based off revenue, so you look at every single square foot in the venue, it's revenue.
Right.
So if let's say I buy a $5,000 table, however many square foot that table is, it is now worth $5,000. If I bring 10 girls to that table and they go and make that client spend $10,000, now that square footage becomes $10,000. That being said, the girls, they should also have the worth of the amount that they just created, because that revenue they created was done by them, whether they know or not.
Right.
They should be respected
most times
for that.
they don't know it.
So this is what I'm trying to do with the show, is explain to everybody that, listen, if you're gonna be Modern Machines, yes, dominate the room. That I'm paying a ticket to see Modern Machines.
Yeah.
There should be no contact between me and you, promoter, GM, nothing.
Yeah, there usually isn't. Yeah.
This is your job. We're paying you to do this. We trust you to do it. Or else, why am I paying you?
Right.
I trust you to do it. Kill it. But as Dimitry Mak, when you're in the club,
absolutely.
you have to answer to now DJs,
Absolutely.
GMs,
More than
promoters.
happy to. Unless it's Shallow by Lady Gaga. Then I can't.
No,
that would clear the room.
I don't
but any
believe
other
in-
request, I'm
I
more
don't
than
believe in
happy
requests.
to.
I don't believe in requests at all. I don't
more
believe
than
in
happy to
requests.
make
That's a
people
goddamn
happy.
lie.
I don't make requests.
You make the man.
There you go. So now, actually changing gears, getting a little bit more serious. The physical toll of nightlife is intense,
Brutal.
brutal. Now,
Especially, I'm 6'4".
Yeah,
So most DJ booths aren't built for someone my size. I'm kind of hunched
Why is
over a
that?
lot.
Why is the quintessential DJ like 5'5", 5'7"?
I don't know.
Just stop hating, son.
Think about it. Like, 5'8". Vitaly wants everybody to know he's 5'8" and a half.
And a half.
When he had the hair in his license, he might have had the half. Now he's definitely 5'8" straight. But back to Dimitri.
Yeah, there's definitely a physical toll that's taken on your body. A lot of late nights, a lot of partaking in your friends showing up. You want to do shots. Obviously, the alcohol, the travel.
Bad food. At
People
the late
see.
night.
People see like, oh, you're in an airport and you post something on Instagram, delayed once again, DJ problems, whatever. But most people are like, they'll give you the likes and they'll be like, oh, you're killing it because you're on the road. But it's like, dude, like I just spent 5 hours in the seat. You know what I mean? Like, and then like delayed flights and all the travel in between just to do one gig. You know what I mean?
How do you maintain the physical like?
Man, it's
Physical
hard.
health.
It's you gotta. I've recently started being more aware of what I eat, hitting the gym a little more regularly, stretching. It's a lot of work that goes into it that a lot of people don't see. You know what I mean? Late nights, it's like I always say, like DJs are working while you're partying, so it's like it's still work. And I get home at like 4:30, 5 in the morning, and everybody's asleep already. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, I like. It's a lot of work.
Let's change gears. Let's go from physical to mental health. A lot of people don't talk about mental health when it comes to DJing. You know what I mean? You said you mentioned you went to Hakkasan, you headlined there. I'm picturing you at Hakkasan, 5,000 deep. You're rocking the room, and then it ends, and then you go to your hotel room and you're alone, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and you're just you and your 18 channels, which is on TV,
right?
Room service, and whoever's still texting you,
right?
Probably your best friend who just finished DJing a gig in New York, and he's bitching about something, and you're telling him how it's amazing that you just got here, but. How do you balance it? How does
it's definitely
how does
a very it's hard to maintain that up and down kind of like getting excited about something, like I was saying earlier before, like when you're getting a hit song on a chart and it's charting and all the DJs are playing it, and then all of a sudden another new song comes out and it starts beating your song on the chart. You're like, oh, well, I feel sad again or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's the same, like you get this high of performing and being loved and adored by everyone while you're on stage. And then you hop off. So you have to find ways to kind of maintain your I guess sanity a little bit, to not really try to be too attached to that one moment and focus on just the journey of it all. You know what I mean? So like I'll try to think about things that are gonna happen, things that I've been through, and not be like, oh, I just finished performing in front of this many people. Let me try to do a hard focus on that. I try to like enjoy the moment and just like, all right, what's next? And just keep the journey going instead of, I think that helps me a lot of
While interviewing you, I didn't have the pleasure of really getting to know you before this. So just while interviewing you, I'm kind of getting to know you. I feel like I was listening to the music. There's a lot of vocals in the music too, which I love about ED. I'm not a big fan of like house with like no vocals at all. Yeah. But when there's a lot of vocals in there, it helps, at least for me, to enjoy it. But there's a lot of vulnerability in the music. There's a lot of like shots. You see like a lot of like the drops aren't always big. Right. They're subtle, and then it goes like I was listening to a lot. I listened to your whole SoundCloud, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
But you see that as a person as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And is that how you got comfortable making music, by just being honest with yourself and the crowd?
Yeah. I mean, I've always tried to just be me, really. I mean, and I think I always try to find vocals or songs that I have some attachment to. Sometimes when I finish a track and I send it out to a couple vocalists, they'll send me some stuff back. And unless it's something that I really am feeling that kind of represents me, because even though I'm not doing those vocals, they still are going on my record, and I have to have some kind of attachment to it. So yeah, I do.
We're getting some good questions on that.
Oh, it sucks.
I
want to get to the questions at the end. I want to just continue with this.
Yeah.
No, because I'm super fascinated. You're one of the only guys we've had on the show that successfully created two brands. But to me, that's not what's really, really cool. I think that the fact that you kept wanting more, like you're locking in residencies, probably the best in the one of the best residencies in the world that I've come in touch with. And you want more, like why? You understand that makes the artist when you continue to be ambitious. Success isn't enough. It needs to be constant. You need to have constant gratification in your life. You want proof? Why are we all on Instagram? Why are we all on Twitter? We need constant gratification in this life. And once you hit 10,000 likes on Instagram, it all becomes the same. I know that because when I hit 100, everything past 100 always became the same.
Right.
When we hit 1,000, and that's. It sounds so small right now because it's attainable to you. So when you think something is unattainable, you automatically think this grand door effect, this grand door event is going to change my life.
Right. No,
but 2 weeks after Hakkasan, you want Omnia.
I want everything.
My point is, you need that follow-up. You know what I mean? The residencies and that success to the failure of Modern Machine and then the sprint.
Well, that's what I was saying before. I think I try to focus on the journey. Of course, I will always strive to be the best that I can be at my art and to do bigger and better shows and concerts and DJ gigs and stuff like that. But if you don't get too hung up on like one little area of your story, I think you could like focus on the long term and where you've been and focus on the journey and kind of try to stay level-headed about all of it, the grand picture really. So it's like, that's what I try to focus on to keep me sane, is to see where I've come from, see where I'm at, see where I'm going, and to kind of be at peace with all three.
You're signed to a record label that's owned by?
Oliver Heldens, that's owned by Spinning Records.
What made you decide to sign with them? And also, I want you to touch on how how inspirational is that for you, that someone that big?
It's pretty sick. I send, every time I make a new song or record, I send it out to record labels, DJs, friends for feedback and just for someone to be like, yo, that's cool or whatever. And so I sent it to my friends. They sent it to Oliver Heldens, and he was like, yo, I want that record on my record label. And they hit me up. They're like, we want to sign your single, and they signed a few more. So I got a lot of stuff coming out with them. And it feels great. I mean, it just, you want to be accepted by your peers, because that's the people. It's not a competition. It's more like, yo, we're all in this together. So when someone like on a higher level is starting to accept what you're doing, you're kind of like, okay, I could be on that level. I am on that level.
So when I went and I got accepted to some of the peers like that were above me in my field, obviously not in regard to how I think you're on a whole nother level, but even with me is I didn't see it as my peers. I'm like, these guys, I'm not on their level, you know? But them looking at you is more like, listen, this kid's talented. This kid has a future. He's bright. Let's put him on.
Right.
Who was kind of the guy who put you under the wing at an early time? Was like, yo, keep your mind out the gutter. This is what we got to do to succeed.
I think one of the first people that really showed me support, that really kind of made me say I could do it, is Tiesto.
Tiesto?
Yeah, I started sending him my tracks like a few years ago, and he started playing them out during his Club Life radio show at his festival sets, and I was like, all right, that's what I'm gonna do. And then
kind of solidified the dream for you.
Yeah, I mean, when someone at that stage says, I'm gonna play your tracks in front of 60,000 people at a festival, you're like, I can do this. Like, this is it.
Now, is there a project coming out, a full project coming out for Modern Machines?
I just got a couple singles lined up that are be coming out over the next few months. Some remixes that are signed that I can't talk about yet, and just keeping the momentum going of releasing a track after track that people can get behind and get excited about. So yeah, I mean, I have a single coming out I think next month with Hell Deep as well. Yeah.
Are we gonna do? Are you gonna do visuals for? Because I didn't see a visual for.
Yeah, we're actually re-releasing. Hell Deep is actually re-releasing Do It as its own single, and we're gonna redo the whole thing, and I think we're doing a video as well. So, because I think I was surprised by how well it did. So I think,
mean,
yeah,
it's booming.
Yeah,
it's
so
booming.
We're doing that, and then we're gonna do a follow-up single after that.
Will you do a vocal remix to do it?
I actually
like
been
a
thinking
female
about
drop,
that. Yeah,
a
I've
female
actually
drop.
been thinking about doing a full vocal remix with the actual vocal track on it, but we're still I can't really talk about that. Yeah.
And do I have permission to use it for one of my Instagram videos?
Absolutely.
All right, on camera, Instagram. When I put this shit up, I'm
won't
fucking
get
hitting you with
flagged.
copyright.
Actually, I got hit with the copyright today on my own shit.
You put it on Dimitry Mak page?
I put up Do It on private download to send to some DJs, and SoundCloud hit me with a copyright claim. They said this track contains "Do It" by Modern Machines.
Well, at least you know they're doing your job. They're doing their job.
They're
right?
doing the algorithm is working great, so that's good.
You're working in a different world.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. You're working in a different world, and you're one of the only guys that doesn't have to step out into the other side. Because God bless you, did your dues. We're not saying that you did it, but I'm saying is that the disconnect comes when you're in this much control. When the DJ has this much control, this is what happens. Which is how a party should be run, because the music should be the number one thing that's being pushed. But again, it always comes back to that question: what are we there for? You know, and as we see. More and more, your sets are about the music, and as it should be.
And I think the more you become a headlining DJ, and the more, I guess, success or fame, or if you're selling 50 tickets to Marquee as a headlining DJ, I think Marquee has the right to tell you to play a certain song or whatever, because you didn't bring that many people that you can control the room. But if you've sold 800 tickets and you're headlining, nobody will say anything to you throughout the night, because those fans are there to see you. That's it. They're not like, nobody can say anything to you. You sold out the room. That's your room. When you're a DJ that like doesn't really sell tickets to a show, you're really just playing for the room, and you're playing like
on the other side, like that you're just spitting Marquee. What if we went to Best Buy Theater and put Modern Machines there? Would you sell that out? That's the question.
No,
Can you sell out
that's the
Gramercy,
goal.
Hammerstein?
That's the goal.
That's where we want to be at.
Right.
But there's what I'm trying to explain to you, there's got to be some type of balance. You can't come to me and be like, listen, I sold 800 tickets to Modern Machines. I'll tell you straight up, 50% of that is Schwartz or Marquee. That's what the promoter's going to tell you.
Right.
I call a spade every day of the week.
Right.
Now, I'll tell you, you're going to come back at me and say, hey, what if you put me on a Tuesday at Marquee?
Right.
Honestly, until you do it, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be all you.
Right.
But at the end of the day, your argument isn't I sold more tickets. Your argument is I put in 10 years of work. I'm not shouting out Monica. That's the way I look at it.
I don't think I related to how many tickets I've sold or how many years I've put in. That's something I don't believe in shouting out over the mic. And I'm not knocking anybody that does it. That's their own thing. Every DJ has their own flow and their own personality on the microphone and their own style of DJing. That's just like a hard no for me.
Can we agree this? Can we agree this? Let's say okay, we're talking marquee level format, right?
Yeah.
So the crowd is the objective. You're moving the crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the goal always, first and foremost.
Now, smaller venue, that birthday that you said has 50, that's basically the room. You giving that Monica a shout out?
Unless it was like unless I was hired very specifically for that birthday. If like Monica hired me, then Monica's getting a shout out.
Yeah.
Wow. This is dead ass career goals.
But this is
career goals.
But this is how it should be. Like this isn't like, you understand that he's getting paid to do his job. How am I gonna now go up and tell you to do your job differently when I'm the one who bought a ticket to see you? It makes no sense.
But it's also a different demographic though. It's also a
but
very
we
different
established
demographic.
that. We established that
Very
we're talking the rooms that he's working. We're talking that level.
Right,
So-
but he's also working it on both sides of the spectrum. He's working it as an open format bottle service DJ,
Right.
and also as an artist. There's a
Right,
difference.
yeah, well,
when you're a DJ,
yeah.
you work for the venue.
Right.
Right? So if
100%.
they tell you, yo, shout out Juan Pepe for his birthday. Happy birthday, Juan Pepe. Love your tacos, bro. Right? Boom. Now, that's Dimitry Mak.
There's also, sorry to interrupt. I think there's also a difference between, if you're a bottle service DJ, which I do, and I love open format DJing. I came up doing it. If a manager's asking you if a table is spending 50 grand,
Right.
sure. But if some random girl that's just like drunk,
Yeah, super valid.
that's what I'm saying.
Super
Like
valid.
that's a huge difference.
That's
Like
super
she's
valid,
getting a
right.
no because
No, I
she's
get-
not bringing anything. But the table that's spending 50 grand, yeah, they'll get a shout out because they're spending that much money. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
absolutely.
as modern machines, nobody tells you shit, pretty much. Like I've seen it.
I've
seen
been
it.
lucky enough to not be told much.
Right, but you're an artist at that
Right,
point. You know what I
yeah.
mean? That literally people paid to come see you.
Right, like people come to my show, sing along to my songs.
Right. There's a difference. There's a huge difference.
it's
Huge
Yeah, no,
difference.
I was making the point that there definitely is a disconnect between the two, but I'm also saying that even at both levels, he's saying that he doesn't do the birthday shout out, which is fine because
to Monica.
to the drunk millennial
fucking
Right.
Monica.
coming up to him all entitled.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, it comes back to what we were saying earlier, that the consumer in the nightlife business doesn't really know what they want. They just know that they want to be in the spotlight at some point. As long as they get a sparkler, as long as they get a shout out, the DJ can really play whatever he wants.
Right.
Right.
But at the end of the day, how do we now create an environment that the music is the essence? If you guys want the culture to grow and you want these shout outs to stop and you want DJs to stop being underpaid, how do we elevate the craft that it's worth it?
I think bottle service clubs is not where you would go to elevate the craft. They're just there to serve a purpose, which is to sell bottles and for people to sing along to Drake. If you want to elevate the craft, you would go to a very specific music-driven night somewhere out of the beaten path, and you would go listen to, The Rub or something like that, where it's
Give me some of your New York favorites. Give me some of your New York favorites. Give some favorite parties you have weekly that you go check in.
It's hard for me to go check into parties because I'm usually DJing.
Well, on the come up, I'm sure you check that out once.
Tiki Disco, obviously. That's something you would go to experience music and let the DJ take you on a journey. I wouldn't go to a bottle service club to go be taken on a journey or elevate the craft or anything like that. I would go to just listen to the latest Drake song or Migos and just drink. Really.
I actually have a quick anecdote.
Yeah.
Last week, I saw somebody snap on Instagram, a random industry friend of mine. He was at Vandal, and they were singing Bohemian Rhapsody at the top of their lungs.
Maybe I was
of their lungs
DJing.
in its entirety, like from beginning.
Isn't that like an
to
8-minute
end.
song?
It's
or
like a
something
6-minute
12
song.
Something like that?
It's like a
Maybe I
6-minute
might have
song.
been DJing actually.
And I
because
texted him.
I do play Bohemian Rhapsody when I spin.
Hold on, I'm getting there. And I texted him, holy shit, who the fuck is playing that at Vandal? And he goes, Dimitry Mak.
Oh, it was me. Okay.
And I was like, this guy has balls the size of basketballs, bro.
Yeah, man.
I do play. I
That's
do play Bohemian
incredible.
Rhapsody for sure.
And
And not the Anthem Kings version.
I don't even know what that is.
It goes into, what's that EDM song? I'm losing it or whatever? I'm
I
losing
don't know.
it.
I'm
It's a pretty
sorry.
good
I
version.
don't.
well, we're gonna
heard
close
that.
out. We're gonna close out the show to Marty playing some music. Maybe I'll throw that on. I want to bring this full circle. Take you back to New York City. You're a big New York guy, Ranger guy.
Love New York.
New York, top
New
to
York
bottom.
is till I die. Absolutely. I've been
What-
all over, and
We don't have a
the
lot of
greatest
EDM
city.
guys to come out of New York. Am I lying about this? You know, some DJ. You guys know the history.
Chainsmokers from New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not much.
Pretty much it.
Yeah, I would say that's
Pretty much it.
Chainsmokers from Long Island, right?
New
think
York,
so.
New
I
York.
think they're from Manhattan.
Long
They
Island.
might be
Yeah,
from Manhattan.
but they are now they're like known as an LA actor because I think everybody once they taste a little bit of success they all move out to LA. But they came up as New York DJs. They used to DJ One Oak, Lavo, and whatever. But
we did. It.
yeah,
But that's what I'm getting to. A lot of these guys move to LA. They start their base in California. They get into this whole like LA lifestyle, the weather, and they just fall in love.
right.
I love New York. I had the opportunity
Absolutely.
to move to Vegas a couple years ago and start my nightlife career there. I said no. And I don't see myself ever leaving. No matter how far I branch out, no matter what I do, I just love this city. Do you see yourself in 5-10 years from now living in LA, or is this New York?
I'm
forever?
New York to death. Like I love New York. And I just cannot deal with LA traffic. And I also, it's like you said before, I don't think there's too many guys making dance music that are from New York.
Successful. That are successful.
And I would, my goal is to put New York on the map again, as someone from New York, to represent New York in the dance community, which I think, like, there's a lot of Swedish guys and there's nobody out there touring and playing festivals and doing things in the dance music world from New York, and I want to be that guy. I want people to associate Modern Machines with New York because that's who I am first and foremost.
You mentioned the touring all around the world with Modern Machines. I love the fact that you have New York in your back, and I love the fact that you're gonna, because as I said, I just got to know you in the past
absolutely.
hour, and I think that we have a great representative. You know what I mean? You rock New York. I watched the Supreme
Thank you.
jackets. I watched the Ranger,
Always,
the
yeah.
Ranger jackets, the Yankee hats. So I do. You're New York through and through.
Through
you
and
know
through.
what I mean?
Yeah.
When do
Grew
you
up
become
on
a
18th
time?
Avenue in Brooklyn.
Where'd you grow up?
18th Avenue.
Where?
Bensonhurst.
18th and what?
49th.
Oh my God, my mom is here. We grew up there too.
Yeah, I went to FDR.
Wow, I grew up 3 blocks away from you.
Wow.
Yeah, 3, 4 blocks away? Crazy. Shout out to my mom in the building one more time. The dream of DJs is, I want to DJ, I want to DJ, I want to DJ. That's not the dream, in my opinion. The dream should be, I want to DJ less. When do you get to a point where you're like, okay, I can take 20 gigs, or I can take 6 gigs that are worth double the 20?
Right.
So are you at that point where you're finally going to be like, all right, let me keep my residencies and the tour, and that's it?
I'm trying to get to that point. But I also love performing, so my goal is to tour 200 dates a year.
And then DJ here, the other 100 and
no.
plus?
No, I just want to be on tour. And,
See, but that's what I'm saying. So when I say leave New York, that's also what I mean. I mean not leave as in physically leave, because you're on tour, you're not going to be here anyways.
Right.
But the presence, man. This is New York City. We forget people, man. You leave here for 6 months, you come back. I see guys go to Japan, they come back, they don't have gigs. They're dry for like 2-3 months. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to get booked, but your fans here in New York, you don't think they'll miss you?
I think, people miss you when you're gone, and not just in death, but like, if you're stretching yourself too thin and you're playing too many shows, I think that kind of backfires on you too. So if you have one New York gig every 3 months or whatever, how long it is you're away for a tour, I think that makes that gig more special to your fans instead of them seeing you every month or every week or every whatever.
Do you have a tour coming up?
No, I'm going to Vegas tomorrow. I'm playing there for EDC week. But yeah, I want to be on tour and I want to be away, not from New York because I don't like, oh, I'm leaving New York, but because I think it'll make people just appreciate you a little bit more. Just because I think that's how the human mind works. We kind of miss things when they're gone. And so when you're away on tour and you come back, people are like, I missed his set. And it's going to be like the only time I get to see him in the next however many months.
Makes it more valuable.
Yeah, and I want to create that experience for everybody. So if I get to go to play London, and I don't come back to London for 6 months, next time they're going to be like, yo, we have to be there because he's not going to be here for another 6 months.
I learned a lot from this interview. I keep finding out how little I know about nightlife the more I talk to people like you. So,
well, this is why this show is great.
No, the objective of the show is to bridge the gap, and you can't bridge the gap without me not knowing. The whole objective is that I have to act also as ignorant and add in my little tidbits.
I think that a lot of people, people in nightlife think that people that are not in nightlife know more than we think they do, but they don't.
No one knows what tallies are.
They like a lot of people don't know what things actually are, and I think it's important to kind of have that conversation so people know what is actually going on, so that when people come out to nightclubs, they have a more enjoyable experience because they know what went on to put that on, and how much effort the DJ has worked to get to that point, to be entertaining you, how much the lighting director is working, how many years he's put in, and all the staff from the manager to the bar back. I think if people were a little more educated when they went out to nightclubs, I think they would have a more enjoyable experience.
No, I completely agree with you.
And they wouldn't feel as entitled.
No, and by the way, Monica, you will not be said happy birthday to you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dimitry Mak.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for. By the way, there's people. I know you guys don't see this, but there's people working in the back, and you got to appreciate them too. So
shout out
a lot goes into
House.
this.
Thank you. Let's go to the music, baby.